Hi, welcome to the unit conversion worksheet problems. So these are the example problems. I'm going to go over these examples for you, and that will help you with the practice problems. First question asks, how many centimeters are there in 5.44 meters? So I want to convert from meters to centimeters, so I need to know that relationship. I know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So now that I have that information, I'm going to write my given, what I'm starting with, 5.44 meters. And if you want, you can put it over 1 just to make it a fraction. So this is my given value. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this by my conversion factor, which is another fraction that I get from the relationship between meters and centimeters, the things I'm converting to and from. So now you need to decide what part of this equation is going to go in the numerator and what part in the denominator. And to determine that, we're going to use our units. I am solving for centimeters, so centimeters should go on the top. What I'm asked to find goes in the top. So I'm going to put centimeter in the top, so that's 100 centimeters. And what I am given are meters, and I want the meters to cancel out because I want to get rid of that unit. So I want the 1 meter to go in the bottom. Remember, in order for things to cancel out, they have to be in opposite positions of the fraction. So those meters will cancel out, and leaving me the only units of centimeters. So now I can do my math here. Remember, with multiplying fractions, we multiply straight across. 5.44 times 100. When I multiply those numbers out, I get 544 centimeters as my final answer. Next one. How many kilograms are there in 513 grams? So in this case, I want to convert from grams to kilograms. So I know that 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. So I'm going to start with my given once again. I'm given 513 grams. Make sure you include the units with these because the units are your guide here. Okay, now I'm going to multiply this by my conversion factor, which is a fraction that I get from this relationship. I need to decide what goes in the numerator, what goes in the denominator. So what part of this equation will go in the top and the bottom of this fraction. All right, I'm given grams, and I want to find kilograms. So what I'm asked to find, 1 kilogram, that's going to go on the top because that's what I want to find. And what I'm given, the 1,000 grams, goes in the denominator. That way those units can cancel out because I don't want to keep grams. I want to convert that to kilograms. All right, so what does my math look like here? Remember, with fractions, you multiply straight across. So in the numerator, we have 513 times 1, which is just 513. And the denominator, we have 1 times 1,000, which is just 1,000. And so what we have here is 513 divided by 1,000. When you divide that out, you get 0.513 grams. All right, let's look at the next problem. How many millimeters are there in 0.0684 kilometers? Now, I want to convert from kilometers to millimeters. You could, of course, Google how many millimeters are in a kilometer, but if you are relying on your understanding of base units, knowing that whenever you see the prefix of K, kilo or whatever, it's going to be 1,000 of the base units. And whenever you see the prefix of milli, this is smaller than the base unit, so that means one of your base units will have 1,000 milli, whatever, whether it's milligrams, millimeters. So this information is useful to have. So I'm going to use these two. I'm going to have to do 2 conversions because I can convert from kilometers to meters and from meters to millimeters. So my first thing I'm going to write here is 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. And then 1,000 meters is equal to, 1 meter is equal to 1,000 millimeters. Okay, so these are the two conversion factors I'm going to use. All right, let's start again with my given, 0.0684 kilometers. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this to meters. All right, I'm going to use this conversion, this information, this relationship for my conversion factor. So I'm going to put the 1 kilometer in the denominator so that it cancels out. And what I'm trying to solve for here is the meters, so that 1,000 meters goes in the numerator. So if I pause for a second here, after canceling out the units of kilometers, I know if I were to stop here, I would be solving for meters. Now I could do that, solve for meters, get my answer, and then convert my meters into millimeters using this information. But I could also just keep going. It kind of saves time. So right now I have meters and I want to convert that to millimeters. So now I'm going to set up my second conversion factor. This conversion factor will come from this equation. So I want to cancel out meters. So the 1 meter of that equation goes in the bottom, and I want to find millimeters. So the 1,000 millimeters goes on top. Now when I multiply this out, what I'll do in the numerator is I'm multiplying 0.0684 times 1,000 times 1,000. And in the denominator, all I have is 1 times 1 times 1, which is just 1. So my math here is just multiplying the numerator, the information in the numerator. And when I multiply 0.0684 times 1,000 times 1,000, I get this value. $68,400 millimeters. I forgot to cancel these out. There we go. Perfect. All right. Let's look at the last couple examples. The doctor finds his patient has a mass of 65 kilograms. How heavy is the patient in grams? Once again, I need the relationship between kilograms and grams since I'm converting from kilograms to grams. So I know 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. All right. Take my given information. I'm given 65 kilograms. Again, I put it over 1 just to make it a fraction. You don't have to, but I find it helpful. All right, now in my conversion factor fraction, I need to figure out what goes in the numerator and denominator. Of course, I want to find grams, so the 1,000 grams goes on top, since I'm finding that. And I want to cancel out my given, my 1 kilogram goes in the bottom. So my math here is simply 65 times 1,000, which gives me 65,000 grams. How many weeks are there in 34 hours? So I'm trying to convert from hours to weeks. So once again, this is one that for me will require multiple steps. So first thing I want to do is convert from hours to a day. I know 1 day has 24 hours. And then I can convert from days to weeks. I know that 1 week has 7 days. Now the order in which you write these equations do not matter because they're equations. So if you wrote 24 hours equals 1 day or 7 days equals 1 week, it doesn't matter. What really matters is when you set up that conversion factor fraction. All right, so 34 hours is my given. I'm going to put that over 1 just to make it a fraction. It's an option. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to convert from hours to days. So I'm going to use this first relationship here. I want to find day. And I want to cancel out hours. So 1 day goes on the top and the 24 hours go on the bottom so that the hours can cancel out. I could stop here and then get my answer and then convert that answer from days into weeks. Or what I'll do is I'll just keep on going. Because right now I have my days. If I were to do this math, I would just have days. All right, so now I have days. I want to convert from day to weeks. So I'm going to put the 1 week on top since this is what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to put the 7 days on the bottom because those are units that I have that I want to cancel out. And they need to be opposite to cancel in opposite positions. So when I have that, my math here, this is a 1 by the way, is 34 times 1 times 1 in the numerator. So 34. And in the denominator, I'm going to have 1 times 24 times 7. So I'm going to have 20, essentially 24 times 7. All right, so if I were to do that math, 24 times 7 gives me 168. So I have 34 divided by 168. And if I do that math out, I get 0.20 weeks. I'm going to zoom out so we can see that one. All right, last problem. If a butterfly has a wingspan of 14 centimeters, how wide is it in meters? So I know I need the relationship between centimeters and meters. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. And so I'm starting with 14 centimeters. That's my given. Put it over 1. Sorry. And then I take my conversion factor and set that up. So I'm going to put centimeters in the denominator so that it can cancel out with the centimeters in the numerator of my given. Cancel those out. And then I have 1 meter on top. So my math here looks like 14 times 1, which is just 14, over 1 times 100, which is just 100. So that's 14 divided by 100. And when I do that math out, I get to 0.14 meters. Okay, so I hope you found this helpful, sort of going through a bunch of practice problems. In your practice examples, the first set of practice examples look very similar to what I did. The second set, you are going to want to use the information in the slideshow to help you sort of review like the SI units, etc. Anyway, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can connect with me in Connect, and I hope you have a quality weekend.